Hi, I'm Keil Johnson. Welcome to Play Politics. I would like to welcome back Vincent Scott. Vincent is an active member of the Fairfax County Republican Committee, and Terrance Stroman. Terrance is the host of The Inconvenient Truth. Welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you. Let's get started. I wanted to talk about the economy, and if you think that the increase in the economy is enough to, God forbid, get Trump reelected.
I'll tee it up. If the election were today, it would certainly help. However, in 2020, in order for the economy to be a positive factor for Trump, the economy is going to have to continue to grow. More than it is this year, more than it is next year. It'll still have to be, he's going to have to be able to talk about the continuing increase in the economy. If it starts to stalemate, as you know, the stock market dropped 1,500 points in the last month and a half. So that doesn't bode great. We can still get past that. But if we stay at 3% GDP, which is still a full percentage higher than it was in the previous administration, if it stalemates at 3% GDP, the American people have a short memory. It becomes the new normal, and it will not be a factor for Donald Trump in 2020.
I agree to a certain extent. This past year, by the time we get to the end of this, we'll probably be at a flat line for the stock market from where we started in January 1 to where we'll be at the end of the year. We've been in a roller coaster up and down. We want to see how this tariffs, there's a trade war, because some people in places like the rural counties of California, the rural parts of our country, have been taking it on the chin from soybeans, from our milk. So we'll see what goes with that. Personally speaking, I don't think the stock market is ringing. I don't think the country's economy has done much more than what we thought it was going to do. The tax scam hasn't produced what we were sold the tax scam was going to do, what the tax plan was going to do. It hasn't paid for itself yet. If anything, it's given us more buybacks. If anything, we're seeing inflation still going higher than wages. And from somebody that helps people get jobs, you still have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. If you're an employee at Walmart, you more likely to have more money if you was a stock buyer of Walmart than if you're an employee of Walmart. So the economy, we're seeing more and more stretches from the haves and the have-nots, from the top and the middle. Our middle class is shrinking. It's starting to get to a point where we're starting to see higher middle class and a lower middle class. We're not seeing anybody in between. So personally speaking, I think we're seeing some type of gains, but that happens with a capitalist society. It's like a wash machine. It does the same cycle over and over. So we just came out of a great recession. We bailed out people like GM, who's now moving their plants. We told they wasn't going to be moving. But then at the same time, places like Sedans are not in place where we was in 2008, or things of that nature. I think eventually we're going to have to start seeing what is the new industry. We've been hearing about the coal mining. We've been bringing back old manufacturing jobs. But where's the new industry? I think that people like Bill Clinton and his administration, he was blessed with the new industry of technology, with the dot-coms. Even in this area in Fairfax County, you've seen it was no Dulles toll road until the dot-coms came. It built that toll road. Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Montgomery County. Our area now, we're about to get Amazon into another enriched county and enriched area. I am one that is, I kind of shake on the Madoff. Our economy is doing great. Because you can dress up those numbers, but do those numbers really tell the story? Our unemployment from the previous administration to where we are now only have gone under 1%. We was at 4.8 when we left the Obama administration. Now we're about 3.7. We did have at 4.1 GDP in the third quarter for Trump's administration. That's as high as he's had in his about 20 months he's been here. That's his highest quarter. So, Obama had 6 quarters of 4% or more. So we'll see how it averages out, and we'll see if it's really, if people are able to, because the new group And this is the one thing I tell the new progressive of the Democratic Party is those that want to see $15 minimum wage, that want to see a living wage for people. $7 is not going to cut it. I mean, it's just, it's no way that you can live and not have multiple roommates or still live at home off of $7 or $10 an hour, especially not in areas that we are here now. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where the working man people is. Like people when we first got in, we heard of Carrier. We was gonna keep the jobs at Carrier. Those people are now here no longer having those jobs. So I'm of the impression that we have to continue to be creative. I see China's being more creative. We gotta keep influencing science. We got technology. We're seeing one of our major things that kind of made our economy look big with Facebook. It's starting to take a hit. That's one of the major things through the tech companies, in my opinion, are the reason why our stock is really, really rising, because we're getting a lot of tech companies that are making great money, that are overachieving from a capitalistic standpoint in our country. That makes it a little different. And then also the stock market we speak of. If you give me $1.2 trillion and I can go buy back the stock, I'm going to make my stock look a little better. So I want to see, just as somebody that's helping people get jobs and that's always helping people in this area right here, I just don't see where it's helping the people that voted for Trump in that blue wall in the Midwest. Where are we bringing jobs? What are those? What is that new industry or that new found job source that's going to help those? Because we ran with it because we was coming into a great recession in the previous administration. The stock market crashed. We had to stick it through, find out if you want to say it was going to be a Great Depression, or you want to say how he came out of it, or how we could have went about getting out of it. We did have that coming into it. So we've been slowly working to where we are now. So now I haven't seen, in my opinion, not for the majority of the American people, the ones that really see the American dream. You see the 1% and the corporations making all-time high profits. And you're seeing the bottom 5 to 10% needing more entitlement. That middle, those families that have educations, that go and get jobs, that went and got a degree, that is the police department, the fire department, they cannot afford to live off of just their salary. And affordable housing in this area, and let's just speak on it, this is for Fairfax, and this is what all we're talking about. Fairfax, it is expensive to live in Fairfax.
It is very expensive. They should call it not affordable.
And I do a lot of affordable housing. And it's not the people that don't have degrees, that's not working in good jobs. It's the ones that are firefighters that make $50,000 to $60,000. You cannot buy a home. In fact, you got to go literally further and further. You got to go Winchester and go further and further out. But you might work here. So I think that the numbers look good, but I'm also kind of skeptical because I used to buy Trump cufflinks and they fell apart. So that tells me one thing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Were they made in China?
Yes, they was. That's the funny thing.
What do you think, Vincent?
I don't think I disagree with Terrance. There are indicators that economists use to see what to predict what the economy is going to do and to report on what it has done. But by no stretch of the imagination is increase from 2% annual GDP to 3% annual GDP. It affects some people much differently than it affects others.
Right.
Those that are invested in the commodities and the business that affects GDP, sure, they're going to come out. Those people that are just the worker bees that are, needing the employment from that, they're just the capital labor. They've got to be paid. Now, there was an article just the other day, though, that I think it was the Department of Labor. Our department of the United States Department of Labor, one of the representatives was in an interview, and he says he had basically said the same thing Bernie Sanders has been saying. Companies have got to start paying people more. But his prediction was that the fact that there are more jobs means that there are less workers, when there's less workers, to get those workers, you have to pay more. So if that theory of the supply and demand works in product, it also works in the wage force or in the labor force. But it's all, Terrance mentioned the word cyclical, but it's also on a timeline. Things have to happen in a sequence. Yeah, you know, companies have to have the money to invest to make more product, then they need more employees, but it just doesn't all happen at once. But if it doesn't happen at all, we're right back to your question. There's no Trump administration re-election. There's no Republican re-election, to be quite honest with you. But we're just going to have to see what the story is in 2020. It's 2 years. We have 2 years, and that's a lifetime in politics.
A lifetime, especially with this administration. It seems like we can't even go 20 minutes. It's probably breaking news right now. Something just happened.
Right now,
Who
as we
knows?
speak, yeah. Speaking of which, let's switch gears and talk about the Russia investigation and whether or not there was collusion. Where do you stand on that, Vincent? What do you think?
Oh, I'm pretty convinced there was no collusion to affect the 2016 election.
And why do you say that?
There's just been no evidence that there has been. Trump had some business dealings that he declined to admit, but even then, when they're admitted, it just seems like regular business dealings. It doesn't seem like anything, you know, covert as far as the election.
Then why even bring up collusion then? Why did that come about?
Oh, well, this goes all the way back to the Steele dossier, the original FBI investigations of some people that were in Trump's campaign, and the Steele dossier, which has not been validated at all as having any actual facts in it. And it kind of snowballed. Again, I think nothing happens in politics by coincidence. I believe that it's going to be proven that Steele dossier that started the entire FBI investigation, it's going to be proven that it was paid for by the Democratic Party, and it was authorized by Hillary Clinton, and the whole thing smells to the high heaven. Now, in the fact that they've had this, that they've now have the special prosecutor. You know, he said, okay, his mandate was to go look at collusion. Well, now now they're expanded into campaign finance, and you know they've convicted Cohen up in New York of tax evasion, and none of that directly associated with Trump, but they're picking people off one by one. I think that the collusion, that Bob Mueller needs to get his report out on the street so that we can see what he's found, and let's deal with the consequences of it. But as far as there being a Russian connection with the Trump campaign for the purposes of disrupting the 2016 election, I don't think we're going to see that.
Well, this is where we might disagree a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if it's substantive, but I will say this. I've been around a couple places, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of smoke, man. It's a lot of smoke here. I mean, if you was a sports guy and you use the terminology, where there's smoke, there's fire, there's a lot of people lying. And I don't know, look, if you're telling the truth, why do we have to lie? And the one thing I know that I've seen, that this guy, I follow the president, and it's every day it's a witch hunt. It went from 6 Democrats to 13 angry Democrats, and now we got 17, it's 20. It started with James Comey being fired, where we implemented the special counsel. Now, I'm not saying that he might have colluded, but I definitely think he got somebody to tell him that we knew who WikiLeaks was going to do it. Because if you look at the timeline, and him coming out and saying, WikiLeaks, do what you got to do, Lordy B, here come WikiLeaks dropping it. And that was right after that daggone thing from All Access came out. We seen WikiLeaks was dumping on Democratic thing. I'm not saying it's collusion. I don't know what is collusion is the same thing we seeing supposedly being fought with Colin Kaepernick. I think that's a hard thing to prove. You're going to have some type of smoking gun. You're going to have some type of email connecting or something that can prove that you colluded to do that. I don't know if that is. I think the one thing that they're trying to prove right now, they think that the one thing that I think that if you look, I'm not in the Justice Department, so I don't know I don't have the high clearance, the security clearance to find all that. The one thing it seems like they're trying to do is find out that Trump Tower meeting. And that is the one place where they think they probably can put where it looks like collusion. Outside of that, I haven't seen his taxes yet. I'm waiting for that. That was that's the one campaign promise I've been waiting for from Trump. I want to know where those taxes are. I paid my taxes back. I want to know where those taxes are, because you can't hide money. The people that hide money, it's been a lot of bosses that killed people. But it was not that.
I wanted to ask, how is he still able to get away with not showing his taxes? How is
because
he
he's in the longest audit that ever been put in the history of America. But no, I want to get, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get back to with this collusion thing. I think that meeting, in all seriousness, I think that tower meeting is the be all, you know. If they don't find in that tower, because that meeting has went from adoption to being something that was something. So it has changed the dynamic so many times about that tower meeting. That's the only thing I've seen in my time that since I've been watching this that you can really go to a collusion. Like how you said, everything is financial crimes and everything else is around that tower meeting. Did Trump know? The first time he wrote that statement, he said he didn't write it. Then he did write the statement. Everything that's connected to that tower meeting has been redacted, changed, lied, or smoked upon. Donald Trump Jr. has changed his story multiple times, from being on Sean Hannity to coming out to now, and it seems like he's going to Canada now. Who knows? But it looked like that Trump Tower meeting, whoever was there, Paul Manafort and everybody that was there, was that the place where collusion either started or they thought that they was going to get somebody that knew something. Everything outside of that, I don't know where else you can really, I mean, we knew he was going to try to do something in Moscow. I mean, if Trump could rename the country, he'd rename it Trump USA. So I mean,
he did. He's got a hat.
So I mean, that's the only thing. In all seriousness, I think if they're trying to figure out what happened at that tower meeting, if it was some type of collusion.
Terrance has used the word 3 times. That's the pivotal word when it comes to the special counsel and when it comes to impeachment that we've spoken of before. Prove it. And when I say prove it, I mean, if you're going to indict someone, you have to be able to prove it, not just beyond a reasonable doubt. That's our standard. And my response to you is that I don't think they've proved it. There may be something come out in this in the final report memo that they found the smoking gun and it proves it. And if they do, follow up on it.
And as Americans, we need to stop being tribal with this on either side. If we supposed to be Americans first, I don't care who's the president, we're Americans first. If that is that, we need to put this tribal stuff to the side. I don't care if he was a Trump supporter, if he did this. Come on now. Let's put America first. Because if you don't do that, the ones that have been saying, all right, when was America great for us before? Going to say, see, this is what I'm talking about. Because if this was the other foot, would it be looking like this? Would we put America first? You would have been saying you'd put America first with the previous administration. And it's Republican ideals I agree with. Low taxes, certain things I agree with. So if it is a smoking gun there, we better put America first. That's all I'm saying. Because if we don't put America first and we say, oh, we just going to put something thing, I'm going to tell everybody, don't you ever fight for the country again. Don't you do nothing, because we ain't put America first when we had a crook come in here and steal an election and try to do it over America's head. It should be nobody bigger than America, right? So at the end of the day, if that is proven, if it's not proven, then we give them the benefit of the doubt. But if it is proven, I want us to put America first, like you've been telling me for a long time in my lifetime.
Wow.
So,
All right then.
I'm sorry.
Michael Cohen. Let's talk about Michael Cohen. All right, he was recently sentenced to 3 years in prison for financial crimes, lying to Congress about payments made to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. I think the other one was Karen McDougal. And he has said that he felt it was his duty to cover up President Trump's dirty deeds. And again, Trump is acting like he doesn't know what he's talking about. We have someone taking the fall.
Trump has said he is a liar. Not
Yes,
that
he
he doesn't
has.
know what he's
Yes,
talking
he
about, that he
has.
is lying.
That he is lying.
Cohen was convicted. There's two cases that the viewing audience needs to separate. There's the Southern District of New York found Cohen guilty of 8 counts. 5 counts of personal income tax evasion, nothing to do with Trump. 1 count of a false statement to a financial institution, nothing to do with the campaign or Trump. But 1 count of willingly causing an unlawful campaign contribution. That's the National Enquirer payoff of Karen McDougal, the Playboy model. And 1 count of an excessive campaign contribution, which was the $150,000 that Cohen gave on Trump's behalf to Stormy Daniels. The lying to Congress is a federal district crime that he was convicted of, and that count of lying to Congress, that was because it had to do with Trump's land project over there, the Trump Tower in Moscow. What he did, and see, this is one of those that kind of skeptics go, okay. Anyway, Cohen told Congress that the land deal ended in January. They stopped talking to Moscow in January. But in reality, they found out that they were still negotiating with Moscow up until June. The significance of that is the Iowa caucuses took place in February. So Trump and his band of followers were saying, I have nothing to do, no business ties with Russia, nothing at all at this time. While maybe not Trump himself, but somebody on his staff, his commercial staff, was still negotiating with Moscow counterparts to try to still get the Trump Tower built.
Right.
So it's a lie. Certainly it's a lie to Congress, and that's something that special prosecutor caught him on.
And see, I go back to the point earlier when we were talking about Russian, but it's a lot of smoke. It's a lot of smoke. I don't know if there's a gun there yet, but it's a lot of smoke. I don't know what kind of fire. Is it a 5-story blaze, or is it just it's a candle? But it's a lot of smoke. It's been a lot of lying from a lot of people. First of all, Trump, you can't say his guy wasn't what he was when you called him your fixer for 15 years. So he lied to you when he fixed other things, but this time he got caught fixing something. And see, that's all I wanted, and this is all I want. I want us to be fair with what we saying, what is the truth and what is a lie. I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care. I always tell people, I don't care about the parties. Vote for the candidate. Whoever candidate you see fit with, vote for the candidate. You could be a part of any party you want to. I'm not a part of either one. I'm looking at the candidate. So if it's a lie, it's a lie. And there's been a lot of people that's been found guilty and that's taken pleas off of lying. So always follow the money. Somehow, some way, we wasn't talking about, like you said, it was no Russia, nothing when we was in Iowa. We found out it was some Russia something. And he was with you, standing with you, doing all these campaigns. It ain't like Mr. Michael Cohen he just came back after a 5-year hiatus. He was with you through this whole thing. You named him the fixer. So now this fixer is a straight liar. Then why would you have the fixer by you? The people with the National Enquirer just came out and said, has said what he's saying is the truth. Now like the same thing. Bill Clinton got what he got done in the Oval Office. I'm not, what you do personally and what affects you and your family and your situation don't make no difference to me. To me, to be honest with you, it don't make no difference to me. If Melania's cool with him doing what he did to Stormy, I'm not his wife. I'm not the mother of his kids. That's personal. But if he lying about what he did politically wise, so try to cover up because you thought it was going to affect the way we thought of you, then that's a problem. And all I'm saying is that we've been seeing a lot of lies. First, he didn't know who the lady was on Air Force One. Then he knew it was. Then it's a simple transaction. See, when you keep changing, why could I believe anything you say? I'd rather, if you got caught lying, tell the truth, and then let's go with that and figure out what we're going to do with it. But you keep on changing it up. It lets me think that you're covering up something even more. So I can't believe none of them. Flynn lied to the vice president. Now we got Manafort lying. Everybody's lying to people that y'all tell us not to lie to. Under oath, with the premise of if you lie, you're going to get in trouble. And they still lying. So only a crook is going to continue to lie because they did something wrong. So, y'all, we can shape it as it's only finances, this, it's only that. It's a lie being told. And there's been multiple ones that's really close to him that has been caught lying. We haven't had a chance to sit Trump down and find out if he's lied because he gets to move with the presidency.
Well, maybe we did. Trump 3 weeks ago, had to submit answers to questions to the Mueller investigation. And after he submitted his answers, that story kind of went away. But Mueller has his sworn, when he submits the questions, the answers to Mueller, that's not him just talking to a camera. Right. Those are sworn. If he lies in that response, and if you don't know this, I can tell everybody in your viewing audience, Mueller knows the answer to every question he asks Trump. He knows what the truth is. He's got evidence of something or he wouldn't have posed the question. Not that it's illegal, whatever the answer is, but if Trump lies about it, even if you tell a lie about something that's not illegal under oath, you've still perjured yourself, even if what you're lying about's not illegal.
Exactly.
And that's where a lot of my personal confusion comes in with Trump. There's things that I said, yeah, you're a cad. I know that. You know, I know you were a playboy, basically whoring around all over the place. I know that. Why lie about it? Because doing that wasn't illegal. What he was doing, being with a Playboy model, it might be distasteful, but it's not illegal. Being with Stormy Daniels, it's certainly disgusting in a way, but it's not illegal.
And
so
we actually have to end on that. And I agree with you on all of that. So. And that's all the time we have for today. I look forward to seeing you next time for another edition of Play Politics. Take care.